I don't know how to describe it, but in your mind it lowers you to that little place where your body is not thinking about its movement, it's simply just reacting to the sounds. It's no longer your fingers or the guitar making the music, it's your entire body and soul. I picked it up and it felt very natural. I felt like it was something that I was always supposed to do. Literally, I take my guitar anywhere because anywhere where I'm sitting down by myself, I can always pull it out and, practice. Every time I play is practice. I'm never actually performing. I work for the auxiliary services here at South City campus as a specialist. Mostly I take care of events that happen at this campus. We have a lot of inside and outside groups that want to hold their special events, ranging from conferences to dance and parties. My job is to make things run as smoothly as possible. Well, actually, I never got to graduate from high school. See, when I came to the US, I started failing all my classes. So Salt Lake Community College was a great opportunity for me to get my foot back in and be able to redeem myself in a sense. So I leave it all behind and start new. That's what this place is all about. The school has benefited me and helped me grow, but without that personal decision to allow yourself to grow, you're not going to. And you come here and you live among your peers from a day-to-day basis and you see them grow. I can't really analyze myself very much. Other people are the ones that have to give you feedback. But you see others grow, and that's a wonderful thing.
Salt Lake Community College. When we are busy, we'll handle up to 500 calls each per day. Last year it was over 14,000 calls that I myself handled. We take the frontline calls for all the student services. The initial contact is the most important thing, because if students get a bad experience, then they don't want to return, they don't want to continue. Getting started is sometimes the hardest thing. Being able to help people get started and begin that transition for their life and the process to improve their lives is just one of the most important things to me. I love providing information to students. I think education is one way that we can improve our lives. One of the best investments you can make in oneself. So 10,000 students a year, at least getting started, and then many of those calls that we get are repeats. So 500 a year, I say, is pretty good. These, they rip your hair out. So Chris made me little Barbie doll shower caps, which I fastened around the pieces so that I can wear it without, and I can put it on and off. Outside of work, one of the things I enjoy very most is animals. We had several fish, and then we got lizards and the rats. The duckling. I was visiting San Antonio, going along the Riverwalk, but as we're walking along by the canal, there's this little duckling in the water, and yes, it was had its face down, and every once in a while it would lift its little head up and it's going, ah! And I fished it out of the canal, until it's where I could reach it. And I had to squeeze its little chest and see the water coming out of its nose and its mouth. And then I blew into it, like just cut my hands around it, just blew on it and squeezed its little chest and blew on it to resuscitate the little duckling. But apparently it did fine. Had it for just a couple days and then took it to a local vet. The umbrellas, well, when we first got here, the lighting systems, this building was where they did shop work, welding, and they were really harsh. The light bulbs are harsh. I just brought in my umbrella and I thought, well, if I stick it in the little thing there, that will block the light. And it worked, it was great.
It's a great place because I can really interact with the students and really have an impact on the students. And so I really appreciate that. I impact, I think, hundreds of students every semester and hope maybe thousands of students over my career. I tell my story usually early in the semester. Later in the semester, I'll have students come up to me and say, I was out with my friends, they wanted to go have some drinks. They wanted to drive after they were drinking and I told them not to, or I convinced them not to. So that is really, that is really something. I really made a difference and hopefully prevented someone from being injured like I was. I was in an accident involving drinking and driving when I was 19 years old, and that's how I ended up being paralyzed. I made a mistake, and I got into a car with someone who I knew had been drinking, and he drove off the road, and then I became paralyzed. So I use that as an example in my class of what not to do. I explain to students that these things can really happen. I was once a college student. I was once walking around. I was 19 years old. I made a mistake. In my life, there's so many things that I can do, and what I try to do is focus on the things that I can do instead of worrying about what I used to be able to do. I think sometimes people get hung up on the way things used to be, and it's easy to get hung up on that. I went skydiving about 3 years ago, and I thought, I bet not that many paralyzed people skydive. And so it was a tandem jump I was doing, and the guy I was tandem jumping with, I asked him if he had ever skydove with a person who was paralyzed before, and he said, yeah, he did, like 2 weeks previous. I thought I was going to be cool because I was going to be the first guy to do it, but I guess people have done it before. So I love teaching at Salt Lake Community College, and I think it's an awesome place to work. I really enjoy it.
The hardest part about roping is there's a hand movement, and depending upon how accurate you want to be, you've really got to understand how that hand moves. It wasn't pretty at first. I roped ladders and chairs, and every once in a while myself. Roped my raspberry bush, that was painful. So my original plan when I went to college was many different things when I was younger, but then I thought of the FBI, and I was kind of interested in financials, and so I went and got my accounting degree. What I didn't realize at the time was that the FBI had an age limit. That cutoff for that age would have been 6 months before I finished my degree, so I couldn't even apply. I'll have to say the alternative has been great, but that really was the ultimate goal. When you think of all the things that people come to me for, because they come to me for a lot of stuff outside of my basic job description. They come to me for a lot of help, some people, and it's just because I'm really good at digging in, and I can research and follow things and investigate whatever it is that needs to be done, and I'm pretty good at it. Sometimes your plans change, or things change, or life changes, or the college changes. You need to go forward and make new plans. When you're a compliance person in the grant world, your mind, I think, works in mysterious ways, and that's what makes you good at this. One grant file could look like this, and you can sit down in about 20 minutes, kind of get an idea of what needs to be done, what's in there, where to look for stuff, how to understand what they have to do. Probably my favorite part about the job is the different people I get to work with. So most of our grants have some sort of student instruction, and a lot of it's general instruction or a new program. So I'll get to meet faculty, which I absolutely enjoy because our faculty is so dedicated to what they do, and they're really passionate, that you get to get a bird's eye view of how I help what they do by being here, because I keep the money coming, and I keep it coming to where it needs to come to, and I make sure we're doing it right so that we keep getting money. Our ultimate goal is to get federal grants so you can put together programs that we don't have funding to do any other way.
We can go through anywhere, on an average around 250 jobs a week. We've got 2 digital printing machines. We have 2 large black and white copiers. We run a lot of the bookstore packets here. We have a 6-station screen printing setup in the back, so we can do multiple color shirts. We can do perfing, scoring, all types of folding, and then spiral binding. We do a lot of binding work here as well. We do pull off some miracles around here. Well, pretty much all the banners, everything you see hanging around campus is done through us. You'll notice in the Student Center the big Bruin Bear and going up the stairs. That was a project that we had to really think through on the stairs. Challenging projects like that, we have to come back and think things through a little bit, but it's kind of been fun to do some innovative things. Love working with the faculty, and we've got a great crew here at printing services, and we do hire students here, so we work with them, and it's been fun to kind of take them to the next step after what they've learned here at the school, to be able to actually put that into working knowledge and helping them gain a better understanding of how all that they've learned works.
Everything that the college needs, we procure, from the chairs they sit on, to the desk they use, to the computers they use, and the software that they need for specific programs that they're in. And when, you know, the X-ray machine goes down or something critical, then we have to act quickly and reprioritize our workload to ensure that the students get what they need. I am the buyer for technology, and so I buy all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm curious whenever I buy something. I just don't buy it not knowing what it is, where it goes, and all that stuff. Unique and unusual things that we buy at the campus are cadavers, fun X-ray machines and X-ray phantoms. It's fun spending other people's money. Purchasing department typically is looked at as a roadblock, but our goal is to save the college money. Have you seen his eyes? Beautiful green sparkly eyes and a smile that kind of glistens. 1996, rookie coming into New York Yankees. He just always has been a class act. I think one of the best baseball players ever. Go Yankees. It's a sad day when they get beat by the Red Sox, but a glorious day when we kick their booty like we're doing this year. So, go Yankees.
Well, the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry is the oldest in the country, I think. I've always been a lifelong Red Sox fan ever since they were in the World Series in 1967. And they finally won in 2004, and won, so it was a great victory to celebrate. So, in the summer, we're in charge of approximately 60 acres of grounds. In our department, we have 11 full-time employees, and we're on call 24/7 in the wintertime. We have a softball field and a soccer field and a baseball field at the Jordan campus. Our sports fields are at the highest level of the playing conditions. We get a lot of compliments on the conditions of our fields. Well, we strive to have the campuses looking the best in the state of Utah. It takes a lot of work to do that. We're constantly doing something. We'll never be completely done. Potential students can look at the campus and see that it's good looking, well taken care of, so that reflects on the rest of the school and professional attitude that we take. It takes a lot of teamwork, and I know that people coming on the campus makes a good impression. Hope people appreciate that.
It's something that no one else in my family does. It's something that I enjoy, and it's something that comes from the heart. We start dancing, I could just kind of let everything else go and focus on the music. It kind of takes my focus away from the everyday, and I'm able to focus on just the music counting. Ballet's been a big part of my life since I was 5 years old. I can let my mind kind of wander, and I don't have to stay hyper-focused. I can start either, whether it's with a pencil or a paintbrush or on the computer, I can just kind of let my mind go, and then as I'm doing things on the computer or drawing, ideas start to come and things start to come together. So it's kind of like a freeing thing that I like to do. I've graduated in 2011 from Salt Lake Community College, and I'm finishing my bachelor's at Southern New Hampshire University in graphic design. This job has been a great thing for me. Going to school full-time and trying to work, it's been really good to work with my school schedule, and so I can accomplish things that I need to do. I like the job, I love what I do, because it gives me an opportunity to use my creativity. My dad's worked here ever since I can remember, and my mom also has as well. It allowed me to kind of see the college from a different perspective. The community college it's been pretty important, not only because I work here, my parents worked here, my siblings all worked here, everybody in my family has some tie to the community college. So it is kind of a second home, I guess. It's a place that's safe. It's a place that I know that good people work here, and I know that there's a lot of people on campus that are willing to help each other out. Everybody talks to everyone type of thing. It's very integrated, and everybody's been very awesome.
I love the energy that comes in a really good classroom setting. Love the energy, I love the safety, I love the permission that I have to have these difficult conversations. I love living in Utah and having this conversation because we get to talk about things you're not supposed to talk about. Religion, politics, race. For 16 weeks of a semester, I get to cover all of it. This class is important in Utah because we have a less than 1% demographic of African Americans and a large refugee population of African immigrants. Understanding how to engage across culture is going to be huge. So we talk about the legislation of the Black experience. We talk about the civil rights via social movements. We talk about spirituality and religion in Black culture. We talk about Black music. We talk about identity. We talk about the N-word, education. Music, hip-hop is always a big thing. People will walk away feeling like they actually got something from it. They can go to a history book and learn that kind of stuff anytime. So less timeline, more topic. And you know what, if they struggle and they don't get it, they can leave class feeling undone and have to go fix it themselves. But they're leaving class still thinking about class, that's when the magic starts happening. Every moment's a teaching moment. I'm super shy. I'm from a military family, and from the time that I was in 2nd grade to 10th grade, I switched schools every year. It's why I like engaging, because I'm able to observe and learn from what I see in my environment and then find a place to fit in. But I am absolutely, completely shy. I've been at the college since August of 2005. I consider Slick my family. When being able to come back, I feel like I'm coming back home. I love that, and I love being able to be back and be part of that because this is where I started, and I will always have a loyalty here. When I wasn't working here for about 5 years, I still came back. I still brought my kids. Slick is home to me. Slick means it. To be the premier community college in the nation, we mean it, and we are not going to stop until we get there.